Okay, so I wanted to take a second to talk about this, bro, but there's literally an article out. I did not read the full article. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. But one of my mutuals tweeted this. So this was Kurt, our GM, talking about Chris, talking about, I look at Chris all the time and say, unfortunately, our injuries and decisions we made to acquire picks haven't made this year easy on you. There have been people coming in and out of the door on hardship deals, new players arriving all the time, he explained. That's tough for a coach with a young group. I told him I'm sorry for that. It's the reality of injuries and also the reality of building towards free agency. So my thoughts on this is, Kurt, why the fuck are you saying this? Like, honestly, someone said earlier this season, it was one of the plays, was it the Vegas game? Whenever he didn't use his challenges and Kurt was yelling at him in the tunnel to use his challenges and all this other stuff. Okay, and it's just an entire thing of there's no way that you can blame everybody else but Chris. Like, I'm so confused. Like, why would you take up for him in an article, okay? And I just feel like if he really believes in Chris and he really wants to give Chris another year, then Kurt should be fired. Kurt should be fired already. Just for the fact that he hired Chris, I really don't want to see Kurt here next year. But if he's going to be here, you need to fire Chris. I just personally don't understand how you can look at this entire season and see multiple times us not being able to close out games and Chris's mismanagement in the clutch in terms of his rotations, the plays that he draws up, his decision making, not having Paige play point guard, putting people like Maisha Hines-Allen and Kyla Charles in a starting lineup in 2025, letting JJ play point guard instead of Paige Beckers, and all the other decisions that he makes. And you can tell that the players don't like him, okay? DiJonai is out there happy at the Minnesota Lynx. You want to know why? Because they actually care about basketball there. Because Cheryl Reeve is not a joke of a coach. She takes it seriously. They pride themselves on their defense, and that's the same thing that DiJonai does. That is her calling card. So she's literally in the perfect situation for her, and Cheryl Reeve is going to utilize her and let her play the three, which she didn't get to play a whole lot here, and have her be more purposeful about her shot selection, being able to space the floor, and have them play purposeful basketball and make that extra pass. You see, when you have a coach that has IQ, that knows how to have players play their position and utilize people correctly, and just the environment, like DiJonai, she's smiling over there. And I'm so glad that she's throwing shade at Dallas every time she gets, because seeing this from the outside, we know the players are in hell. I can't imagine actually having to wake up every single day and go play basketball for Chris Koklanis. I really cannot. That's terrorism, okay? Like, I really can't. So you have those things, and I just don't understand, like all of this, injuries and decisions we, like, you're talking about everything else but the basketball perspective, okay? We don't have the best roster in the league, but imagine if Chris did a starting lineup like this. He had Paige at the 1, he had Arike at the 2, he had Haley at the 3, he had Maddie at the 4, and then he had, like, Lee at the 5. Imagine if he did that. Imagine if he had good rotations and management of it, used his challenges in a good way, and actually was a good basketball coach. The only time he talks about basketball is basically when he gets in trouble. When everybody's on his ass and he hasn't talked about it in 3 weeks, he's like, let me pull out my bag and bring out some basketball terms so people think that I know what I'm doing. But anybody who watches this game continuously from the Dallas Wings can tell that Chris doesn't know what he's doing. I guarantee you, I could go tomorrow and I could coach a better game for the Dallas Wings than Chris Koklanis has coached all year. I guarantee you that, okay? And he knows a lot more X's and O's than I do, supposedly. I'm sorry, I feel confident in that. I feel confident in that. Because, like I said, there's no way that you can watch film if he actually does watch the film and not see the changes that you need to make with your rotations and the issues that you have, okay? And also, I'm sure you got to talk about the staff that Chris has brought in as well, because there's something there. We could have players who, like practice players who are better. Like I said, we have to get our practice players from the YMCA, because the fact that we continuously have problems with finishing layups. Why aren't we having more layup drills? Why are we not having better practice players? So whenever you're in practice, it's hard to finish your contact and you're able to get used to that. So in the games, we don't struggle as much at finishing layups. You're a defensive coach, and yet our defense is consistently a problem. Like his philosophies, Diamond talking about, oh, it's a free-flowing offense, and even Shari was like, oh, Diamond's excited to go because it's more of a free-flowing offense and everything. It's not as structured and da-da-da-da-da. Bro, it's chaotic. It's chaotic. Anyone who watches it, bro, if Paige is not leading the possession, they don't know what they're doing. And half the time when Paige is out on the floor and they don't, like, she's not able to play point guard, they don't look for her at all. They go right past her. Just the fundamental things of basketball, the Dallas Wings do not do well. And if we do it well, we can't do it for a whole game. We almost pissed that New York game away. The one that we were leading at 63-36 at halftime. Almost pissed that away because of poor decision making, okay? I have to give some thanks to Nola Henry for what she's been able to do. And, you know, she's doing what she can. But yeah, and I understand that we're tanking. Is it fun to watch for me? No. But in the end, if this tanking does not lead us to get AZ FUD, then I told you guys I'm going to be extremely upset. And like I said, that Commissioner's Cup crash out that I had about the Minnesota game, that is going to look like light work with the crash out that I'm going to have if we do not get AZ FUD. Because you cannot tell me we're going through a whole season of hell and we're not getting to AZ FUD. And he mentions later in this article that, you know, some teams have built more so with draft picks. You look at the Vegas, you know, what they did. They had Kelsey Plum, they had Asia Wilson, they had Jackie Young. So some teams are able to do that. And he was mentioning that that's a possibility, that they're going to be more aggressive with their offers in free agency. So we will see. But also on the same token, you gave Myisha Hines-Allen a huge contract. You gave Teaira McCowan a huge contract, and they did not produce this year. So I kind of get scared with who wants to go with the money, because the way that he talked about Myisha Hines-Allen, he talked about her like she was Nafisa Collier. You see my problems, and then at the same time, it's like, who wants to come to Dallas with this regime? I'm sorry, bro. Like, you're gonna have to fire some people if you want people to come to Dallas. Like, I'm sure a lot of people want to play with Paige, but at the end of the day, they got a career to have, okay? And they don't want their career to get fucked up by mismanagement and all that shit. So I just feel like Kurt has to go, like, for the most part, especially after this quote. Obviously Chris has to go, the GM has to go. Like, we just need a build up from the top down. We keep Paige, we keep Haley, we keep Maddie, maybe. Pretty much everybody else needs to go. I'm just not liking what I see. We need a coach with real philosophies, with rule principles, with a good, consistent coaching staff who, like, we're going to be able to fix our problems next year, because you're wasting a year of Paige's career and everything. And yeah, like, like I said, we need to commit to the tank that we started. Okay, period. Like, that's what we need to do. And we need to get that surefire #1 pick. And then, like I said, if we get that pick and we draft Lauren Betts, I'm going to be mad, and I'm going to give my thoughts on Lauren Betts. Hopefully in the next few days. I'm thinking about doing a live, and maybe during one of the games. I don't know if I want to live stream me watching Dallas games, because I'd be crashing out and stuff. So maybe during one of the other games, or maybe just a live where I give my opinions on Lauren Betts and then make a video later, because I don't know. At this point, I kind of do feel comfortable enough to give an opinion. But I do want to talk about that at some point. But it's just like, why? I just don't understand it. Like, you're literally letting him off the hook talking about a young group. Like, if we had, like, our personnel, like I said, it's not the best. But if we had a capable coach, we could have flipped around some of our losses to win. Absolutely, bro. In the beginning, we were 1-11. Do you know how many one-score games that we've had this season? Paige, like, does a lot good. And if we had a good coach, we would have been able to turn some of those losses into wins. But whenever you have bad coaching and you're just not, like, he's not a player's coach. Like, his players obviously hate him. And, like, someone was talking about this too, and I forgot to say this, bro. But again, this nigga was laughing when he's talking about Paige being hurt again. He did this the first time whenever she got her concussion, and he did it again talking about the past injury that she has with her back. And I forgot to talk about that in the video as well. But it's stuff like that. You see the way that he's treated Dejanay Carrington. Like, the players hate him. He's not doing anything good. His philosophies, like, everything is trash. And you're literally giving him excuses and stuff. So I just don't know why he would say this publicly. I'm very concerned at this point. I'm actually very concerned at this point. And yeah, if Chris doesn't go after this season, I'm going to be really mad. So yeah, I just wanted to take this second to just drag Chris and drag Kurt and drag the Dallas Wings organization, because you can't say things like this and then expect players to want to come here. Like, I can't imagine what they're saying in the group chat. I can't imagine what Paige saying to AZ about this hell, because you can't be serious, bro. I feel bad for Paige. Got to carry them on our back every single game, and people try to discredit her and say she doesn't make her team better. How is Paige supposed to make her team better when they sell her assists? You guys know how much faster Paige would have got to 100 assists had they not blown her assists, bro. Paige could be top 5 in assists this year had she had capable teammates. You want to talk about Kayla make her team better? She had Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell. I would hope that she would have more assists first year. Those are two great players, okay? I have my issues with Aaliyah Boston with those fucking elbows, like I always talk about, but objectively, those are two great players. And I don't know. I rambled a lot. So we'll see if Paige plays in the game today. I don't know when I'm going to post this. Maybe the update will be out and stuff. But I just had to take a second, because, like, if Chris don't get fired, I'm going to have a lot of words.